Welcome to the August 16th, 2021 Advance Report for McGowan Group clients and NetWorthRadio.com listeners. I'm Spencer McGowan, your financial weatherman. Thank you for joining us today. I'm President, McGowan Group Asset Management, a team of 10 professionals with advanced training in finance and customer service. We look forward to serving your family with enthusiasm, and the YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe. This is designed to help you make great decisions in the path forward. And we'll start with the Dow as usual here, because the Dow Jones Industrial Average actually on the coattails of infrastructure ascended to almost 35,600 this week. Now, normally that would be worrisome. But we see we did a long period here where we were just range bound. Now that we've broken above that, it says that there's a kind of an all clear if we look at earnings reports. Now these earnings reports, it shows sales growth for the S&P 500. Most everybody's reported now, 28% sales growth. Yes, that was comparing to the shutdown quarter. Profit growth was about a double for the whole group. Amazingly, materials 140%, industrials 455%, financials 180%. So the earnings have been off the charts, really showing full recovery for U.S. corporations who by and large navigated the crisis extremely well. That is good news for the future. And it also says people get trapped into a negative perspective after a 2020, after the real estate collapse in 2008, after the tech wreck of 2001 and 2. Be cautious about being too pessimistic and too optimistic, but remember, those things tend to happen pretty rarely in the financial markets. If we looked at the tech wreck, it was about 7 years to recovery, peak to peak, and for the crash of 08, we look again, and it was 13 years before we had another crisis, the 2020 crisis, say 12 years. Well, we had 7 years between this big event, a black swan, if you will, about 12 years there. So don't plan around the unpredictable black swan type of events. You want to plan with the mathematics going forward. Great dividends, great interest payments, discounts, and tactical safety, which we're restoring in the portfolios. This is the top 10 and bottom 10 of the S&P 500 this week. It's a very important read on what's actually happening in the financial markets, who's getting smacked around, and who may be making progress that's notable. Finance is in here, Charles Schwab, Capital One, corresponding to those earnings. Tyson Foods, there was a big buyout. Sanderson Farms, raising the value of Tyson. And Nucor, steel company, infrastructure. Obviously the infrastructure party about to get underway, and we have covered more about ESG, electric vehicles, where the energy comes from over the next 10 years. That's at NetWorthRadio.com. Our dynamic dashboard goes into more details about the path forward in light of the infrastructure. Nucor was strong. The commercial metals based here in Dallas. It started as a scrap yard decades ago. Now it's a Fortune 500 company. Commercial metals up 75% so far this year. Wow. So it gives you a good example of enthusiastic money flows. Always be careful about what you pay. In this case, I wanted to talk about how long interest rates could stay zero. This is a very important piece of the puzzle right here. This is the crash of 2008. The Fed printed $3 trillion, $3.5 trillion to basically save the banking system at the time, dropped rates to zero. This surprised me. This is the T-bill, this is the 10-year Treasury, the green. Look at this, 7 years of 0% interest before the 0% interest was raised by the Federal Reserve. So, how long can it go? Well, that says 7 years. We're about 2 years of zero interest rates right now. And yes, there's worries about inflation. And we're covering that with strategy, medical dividends, energy infrastructure. So if you want to update your plan, then be sure to fill out the preliminary client questionnaire at networthradio.com. Now here's a big event this week. Whoa, what happened? European natural gas futures went tenfold since June of last year. In 1 year, 10 times. They're switching from coal, and natural gas is about half of the emissions, okay? Well, they don't have the supply lines because part of that new Green Deal, if you will, in Europe, and they're further ahead. Germany has a great environment, a beautiful countryside because they preserve it. But the interesting part about this balance is when you stop looking for oil and gas and you want to cut off the supply lines, you get shortages. The U.S. natural gas has stayed at $4 per million BTUs, strong, a 7-year high. So the energy infrastructure, combined with growth and innovation like clean technology, combined with medical dividends, and a dynamic fixed income portfolio with a high yield and tactical safety, those categories we've gone in depth with the investment committee to bring a clear model for investors that, yes, can be customized. Be sure to set your time to come down or Zoom with McGowan Group, the team that cares. Thank you for tuning in to our YouTube channel. I'm Spencer McGowan, President McGowan Group, your financial weatherman. We sponsor each week networthradio.com broadcast that has the charts and graphs, many of which you saw today. We also sponsor this YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe for fast breaking news, an alert when we post something in a market condition that may have changed. Our goal is to help you as an investor make the right decisions at the right time. And that's part of what this YouTube channel is about, as well as networthradio.com. I am well served with a team of 10 people, including myself. And that team that cares is actually made up of people who are devoted to your net profits and your success, as well as excellence in service. If you want an educational experience to follow this up, get to networthradio.com, themcgowangroup.com. Right here, we disclose our net client experience all the way back to 2001. What that includes, the bear market cycles of 02, 08, 2018, and the recoveries through the most recent quarter. That is true education of investors and exactly how our clients have done, disclosed right here. Further disclosures, value at risk of loss. Yes, investments are going to fluctuate. That's part of the reason for this broadcast. And that can actually work to your advantage. We'll build that into your plan. So I urge you to go to networthradio.com, fill out the preliminary client questionnaire, a free 1-hour brainstorming session by phone or at the Crescent in Dallas, and we will map out a multi-year plan for you and your family that's appropriate. Just because we talk about a security on this broadcast or any securities doesn't make it a recommendation for your portfolio until you have that written plan. Thank you for tuning in today, and we'll be back next week as your financial weatherman.